And I want to let you know about Mom. She prayed and prayed, and she would always have faith that we would come, but we didn't know whether we would ever make it. And she said, so she said to God, she asked God, do you want me to go there and get them myself? And he says, no, I don't. I want to do it. I want to do it. And listen to what he told her. He said, I want you to start tithing. Give 10% to God, because that's a command that God wants us to do, for him to do something for us. So she says, well, God, I don't even have a job.
And this is in Cleveland. But she's in Cleveland talking to God.
Yeah,
in Cleveland
talking to God
about
on
how do
our
I get
behalf,
my daughters here.
because she is. My mom was really smart in many ways. She thought she could go there and get us. She actually believed that. So she's asking God if she could do that, and he says, no, I want to do it. And so, but he's telling her what she needs to do to make it happen. And so she went to her husband and said, this is what God told me, to give 10% of your income to God. And he agreed. And that process began to work on our behalf. So when let me finish the other part about going to Cleveland, since we went to New York.
So yeah, do you fly from New York to Cleveland then?
Yes, then to Cleveland, and they were already waiting for us. My stepdad, my mom, and while we were gone, they had 2 children, which I'm not sure we even knew that, because even the mail came. It took a long time to go mail. And packages, she would mail some packages, but it took 3 months to get them. And so they have, Joe was born, he was 2 years old, and Pauline was a year old. So all of the family was there, waiting for us there at the airport in Cleveland. And news media was there too. And this was a tremendous thing to happen. So they put it on the news. The television was black and white then, and we didn't have television. So we went to my stepdad's brother's house to watch, what they were taping, what they were doing with us, okay? But it was all like snowy and it was hard to see. But anyways, it was a great reunion. I thought, once I see Mom, everything will be okay. Well, it wasn't like that at all. Not at all. When we got here, because we couldn't speak English, and that was a tough thing. That was really, really tough. We came in August of 1954, and then school started right after we were there, like 2 weeks after. And they put me in the 1st grade, and Maria went, in Cleveland they have a special school to where all the foreigners come to this class, and they learn the language. They teach English and then math, those two subjects. And so after 2 weeks I was in the 1st grade. I couldn't handle that either. And so they decided to put me there. I was the youngest person in there because older people are there learning the language. And since Maria was like 18 already, it was okay. But at least we both were in the same school. And I think it took us 2 years to really learn the language that you could really understand, but you were afraid to speak it out because you didn't know whether you were pronouncing it right or not. And but anyways, that's what happened. Then after 2 years, they put me in the 7th grade, a regular classroom in Cleveland. So I went to school. Maria didn't have to go to school because she already finished high school in Europe.
So she just needed to learn English.
Yes, that's it. And so she found a job, and she worked at a Progressive insurance company. And this lady that hired her, she was like a boss there. Lois was her name. And I think Maria worked there for like maybe 2 years. And then Greyhound opened up to her somehow. I don't know how she found out about it, but it was a better job for her. And so she moved out of the Progressive insurance and she recommended me to come and work there. So I worked there for about a year, and then I met your dad.
So how far did you go through school in the United States?
Up to 11th grade. I thought I've had enough.
So you almost graduated.
I almost graduated, yeah. But I wanted to get a job.
Go to work. And back then, that wasn't an uncommon thing.
No. Yeah. And I didn't really like school anyways. So anyways, I did have some good teachers that understood me a little bit better. I hated to give book reports in front of the group.
Yeah.
So the teacher would take me to an office to where I would give the report just to her, which was wonderful that she allowed me to do that. And but I wanted to work. I wanted to make some money. So that's when Maria quit Progressive.
You went there.
She hired me. Yeah.
And so you were working at Progressive when you meet
your dad.
Yeah. Who graduated high school in 1954.
Yes, he did.
And you moved to the United States in 1954. So what year would this be when you guys meet?
We met in 1961.
Okay. So you've been here about 6...
Yeah, we met it was through... your dad was a barber. And the barber... Whitey Drummond, his name. He was a Christian, and he had a good business. And your dad went to school to be a barber, and so they had a good barber shop that he worked at, and they did the crew cuts, and they were professionals. They were really good, and so he did really well doing that work. But Whitey was a music person, and he had a trio called Sunrise Trio, and he would go to Rex Hallmark Church in Akron, and he would be on staff there doing music.
Oh.
And so our pastor in Cleveland, Michael Brandebora, he heard about this guy singing, and so he invited him to come to our church in Cleveland. And so he came, but Neil, your dad, just became a Christian not long ago, and so he invited him to come. That's how we met in the church, in Cleveland Church. And
now, is this the church? I remember when I was a little kid, your family would go to this church where a lot of the service was not in English. Is that the same church?
Yeah, they had both. They had English and a Slovak or Ukrainian or that was the church.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where this Whitey came to play the music, because you're right.